Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 157 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. What's up, guys? Been a while.
Broken headphones.
Welcome, broken
David,
headphones.
David can only hear us intermittently.
Yes.
So if he's not answering our questions, it's not that he's ignoring us like he usually does.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a good excuse, though. I should always be like, I have broken headphones, but no. I was telling them the cable's really long, and I've just run over it too many times with my chair.
That's how I'm gonna get you new headphones now. we gotta have functioning headphones for the podcast to work.
I feel like that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, usually one of those good things to have. So, well, did you guys have good holidays? Good Christmas? You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot I had to talk about games, right?
Yeah, you wanted to talk about board games and stuff, right? That was under the Christmas category. That was under the Christmas.
Under the Christmas category. Yeah, I mean, it was a good Christmas, but I got some really good games. None of them really board games, though. So Skirmish, 2 card games and a dice game. So Skirmish is like this mix of like war and Stratego, I think, all kind of in one. But it's just played with a regular, not a regular deck of cards, but a deck of cards. I actually enjoyed it, and it's definitely got some skill to it in terms of placement. It's like playing war, but being able to look at all the cards, but there's 5 different stacks of them. It was fun. It was definitely fun. So that was a good one. And then I got this game called Hive, which is a strategic type tile game, but I really liked it, and it looks really nice. Like, it's a good looking game, like how sometimes you just want like a good looking solid game and the tiles are
well
nice
designed.
Yeah. Well, really nice quality
tiles and not like flimsy cardboard. Yeah.
No, the tiles are solid. They're like that Bakelite plastic sort of feel to them. Okay, so that was really good. And then the dice game that I got, I think, is called Bedazzled. That's not Bedazzled. That's the thing. Bemused. I don't know. Something like that. But it's like a con type dice game where you have to roll higher than the person before you. And there's all sorts of like specific rules around that. But, like the 21 is perfect and you can't get any higher than that. Doubles are more than, regulars. And you can lie about what you get, obviously, right? Because you don't want to be the one that gets the strike. You get 3 strikes and you're out. But there's also other cards you can use. Like there's a card where, you can have doubles of whatever you roll. And it's a really fun game with a bunch of people. My kids really enjoyed it. Teach your kids how to be better liars is always fun and interesting. So
I don't know. They seem to do okay sometimes.
Yeah. So those are the games that, I really enjoyed from Christmas, but I thought that they were definitely fun to play.
How did the sign go over? How did the big gift? What did everybody think of that?
Came out really nice, and I ended up getting this like a canvasy art stand on Amazon to kind of put it on, because that was the other thing. Like my wife was like, "Oh, can we hang it on the wall?" And I never asked the artist to like kind of put anything in the back of it. And I was like, yeah, I am not drilling into the back of this to put in screw holes. Like that is just not happening.
Yeah.
So I got these artist stands, and I mean, everyone really likes it, but it was kind of like, we were talking about, well, who's going to get it after we're gone? Right. I should have 3 of them made, but they're too expensive for that. So
yeah, that's way too expensive.
But it went over well. It went over well.
What about you, Trevor? What was your Christmas like? You get anything good?
Well, first of all, I should say thank you to, or I know I already did, but my wife got me a couple of attraction posters from Epcot, which I know you had a hand in getting. So thank you very much for that. They're great. Yeah. And
that wasn't a setup, by the way, for you to say that to me, but you're welcome. It was no big deal, just happy to help. So
yeah, it was definitely appreciated. And we're talking about, so we have those, and where my other posters are is kind of full. So we're actually looking at another wall where we're going to put Epcot stuff. And I'm thinking I might need to get a really nice picture of Spaceship Earth done, but this is gonna this started off as a gift, and it's gonna turn into a project, but not in a bad way. Like
have you seen the Spaceship Earth art that I put on the list? Oh yeah, you got to look at that because there's a new poster coming. Looks awesome.
I did, but I actually had something else in mind.
Okay,
where but yeah, it's very like I don't want to just do posters. I want to actually have some live pictures or like
okay.
Yeah, I'll come back around to it later. This is something that we're kind of talking about and figuring our way through first. So it's going to be probably a couple of months before I get them up and displayed and everything.
That makes sense.
Yeah. What about you?
Funny enough, I actually got a couple things that are 50th anniversary things. I got one 50th anniversary thing, something I've wanted forever, and I've just never wanted to ever spend the money on it because it felt really silly. My sister, when we were there, I guess when we were the times that we weren't there and they were there, she bought me a 50th anniversary monorail set. The monorail, one that has the track and it actually runs around the track. Mm-hmm. So the 50th anniversary, they have a 50th anniversary version of that is like the I'm looking at it now. It's got like the TTC kind of stuff on it, like, so it's got like a little stop, of course, but it's not one that it doesn't go through the Contemporary, but it has like a stop to it, and it looks kind of actually like the Magic Kingdom sign that says monorail on it. You know what I'm talking about? So I got that. My daughter got my sister got for my daughter a 50th anniversary Cinderella Castle, which is awesome. One of the coolest toys I think I've seen, because it has she didn't even know half the features, because the box was all about the 50th anniversary. Like, it barely talked about like what this thing actually did. But if you like press the button on the front, it like blinks fireworks, like it looks like fireworks, and it makes fireworks sounds. But in the back, it has like a little tray that comes out that you pull out, and you can put in. It comes with Dumbo and it comes with teacups, and you can actually just set it in this little drawer and press a button, and it makes the teacups go, spin, and it makes the Dumbo spin. It's super cool. So my daughter really liked that. And then my sister also got me the Skyliner Funko Pop, which I thought was pretty cool too, which, Damon will be happy to know I left in the box. I'm not going to take it out of the box. It's in the box.
That's good.
Yeah. And I actually haven't taken the monorail out either, because it's 50th anniversary. So
I feel like the monorail's playable though, right? Like, if it's something that's like cool like that, you almost have to take it out.
I know. I thought about putting it around the tree, but it's too late already at that point. So
right, next year,
I was going to
there for.
Yeah, exactly next year. So yeah, so it was great. We had a really good time. It was had got some cool stuff, and it was neat to get some of the 50th anniversary stuff, because honestly, I hadn't even seen that this stuff existed. So, but the Skyliner one, it's not 50th anniversary. That one's just been out there. So I was pretty pumped when I saw that. So anyway, yeah. So that was our Christmas. It was good. I can't complain too much. But anything else you guys want to talk about with your holidays? Anything else interesting?
No, I'm looking at these listener questions, and yeah.
Well, while you're doing that, I guess I should talk not holidays, but I was supposed to be going to Disney World in February, and I'm sorry, but I've had to cancel. I know some people were saying they were going to be there the same time as me, but the biggest problem is that there's too much changing right now. Being that I have to travel internationally, it's a pretty big gamble, honestly. Being that, like, I'm sure the trip would be fine, but if I ended up having to quarantine, or anybody in my family ended up having to quarantine, it's just far too disruptive right now.
That would be hard.
Yeah. So we made a hard decision, and we decided that it was better to just cancel it now, because we know we're going to go later this year. We already have a trip planned in November, which I've talked about, and we have the meetup in May, which I will be going down by myself. That one will be a lot easier because of the fact that it's just me. Even if things are a little or not calmed down necessarily, I'm still willing to try that because it's a lot easier if it's just me having to quarantine or me getting stuck down there versus my entire family at the moment.
That would be a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, though, about me canceling this February trip is now I get to see how DVC Rental Store is going to work internationally. So,
you're going to rent out your reservation instead of canceling it?
Well, actually, so I canceled the February reservation and I made another reservation in May. And the reason for that is because, we had talked about there's a form that you have to have done before you can rent out your points internationally.
Okay.
So I have to send some paperwork off to the IRS, and it could take as many as 2 months before I get that paperwork back. So,
Jeez.
Yeah. So I obviously that's not enough time between now and when the trip was in order for me to rent out the bookings. So I decided to go ahead and book out my points as far as I could, as close as I could to the end of the use year, hoping that I can get that paperwork done here in the next month or two, and then I can engage DVC Rental Store and hopefully get it rented out fairly quickly. So, it's gonna be interesting, and I guess that's the first lesson for anyone who's looking to do this internationally is, before you get yourself in the position where you think you may have to rent out points, go through the process of getting the form done with the IRS, because that is not a quick process.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good tip. Yeah, that's at least your points hopefully won't go to waste, and you'll be able to get some cash back for it. So.
Yeah, exactly. If everything goes well, I should be able to rent out the points, and basically pays for my dues this year, which I'm not mad about because it's not really costing me anything. And even at that, if all goes well, I should actually have a little bit of extra money that I can put towards the next trip. So
there you go. Yeah.
It should work out.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I know you haven't been in a while because of everything that's been going on. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things, right? I would have loved to go, and like you said, yeah, it's been just over 2 years since I've been, and because the last time I went was in 2019, and I was upset about it. I'm not going to lie. It sucks, but like I said, it's just too complicated right now, and it's too much of a risk to think about taking a trip at the moment.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So, all right. But well, you want to start talking about listener questions?
Yeah. So yeah. All that said, let's get into some listener questions. We'll start with Chris, who says, with all the negative feelings about how Disney changed all these things, Genie Plus, Nighttime Spectacular, etc. Do you guys ever feel that people have become too reliant on Disney providing the fun and the magic for their trips rather than just getting the natural inherent joy from family vacation time together? Maybe we're just different, but we get out of the trips what we expect to put into and not just what Disney gives us. I agree with Chris that, there has been, I think there has been a lot of expectation from people that Disney is there to provide magic, I guess, or not provide magic.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But like that it's always like supposed to be on, and they're always supposed to be like delivering something versus, at the end of the day, they are still a theme park. They're still an entertainment company. And it's not like when I go to a restaurant, I don't expect them to be on all the time either. Right. Like it's the same
run by human beings who make mistakes, right?
Exactly.
Who maybe had a bad day or I've actually always said this. So this is totally true, Chris. I totally agree with this, that your vacation is what you make of it. Right. And you can either, it could rain every day of your vacation. It's not even Disney's fault, but if you make the best out of that, then that's your vacation. I don't think people should rely on Disney being perfect for you to have fun on your trip. Like, you can have fun even in the imperfect stuff, like that's always been how we've been on our vacations. That it's our vacation is what we make of our vacation, and we don't expect it to go perfectly. But if things don't go perfectly, then you make the best of it.
Yeah, and so. I always say, whenever we take our trips, usually it's in winter months, and like you said, even if it's raining or whatever, we always end up at those points. We always end up turning to one another and saying, yeah, it's raining and whatever, but we could be at home right now where it's -10. Like I would still much rather have a rainy day in Florida than be stuck at home not doing anything. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, set expectations.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Michelle wants to ask, have you ever traveled with a large party where traveling?
I don't get to answer that.
Well, do you want to, Damon? We weren't talking.
Does Damon?
I'm trying to watch there's too many football games that went into overtime. I'm actually I'm watching a football game on the other screen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that for me it's anything other than people in general have gotten worse, and it's not about like the Genie Plus or anything like that. I just feel like people have gotten worse that can sometimes ruin your trip, like not your own group but other groups. Unfortunately,
people are negative and bad behavior, and
yes, all of that I think has taken some of the magic away from Disney, and I think that sometimes people try to pinpoint that on Disney a little bit, but I don't necessarily think it's that. I think people also in this age of social media expect more pixie dust than just being happy if it happens. I think there's just an expectation there, and I think all of these things kind of bring down that enjoyment factor. But you're right, you can't go in expecting all of that stuff. And for me, though, I think it's just about the people. I think people have changed. I think the world has changed. And I think going away, especially at some place like Disney where you're interacting with other people, whether you like it or not, can cause some issues.
Yeah, I have to say I miss all the I've said this before. We always used to meet people from different countries when we were there, and that was always kind of a highlight of our trip. We'd always meet people from England, we'd always meet Canadians, Trevor, and that was always kind of a cool thing. In the past couple of trips we've gone, obviously we haven't been able to see those people, and that kind of is a little bit of a bummer. But yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, Damon. I feel like people are a lot more negative in general. I feel like especially if you look at like bad fandoms, I feel like Disney fandom sometimes can be pretty negative.
Social media can just ruin things, man. It's tough.
Yeah, if you ever want to just go on Disney's Instagram, and anytime they post something, just look at the comments on it. It's bad. It's a bad place to be.
and the flip side of that is, to your point, Damon, sometimes you have to not engage with social media because that does warp your expectations of the world.
It definitely does. It's definitely set these expectations. Like pixie dust, like back before social media, it was kind of like a whispered rumor. Like, oh, did you hear so-and-so said so-and-so said so-and-so got a free lunch or, whatever the case may be. But now, like, if somebody gets pixie dusted, they post all about it, and it like makes other people upset. It's a different world, man. It's a different world.
Yeah, I don't understand why people get mad about not getting the quote unquote pixie dust. It's like, if it happened all the time, then it wouldn't be special. The whole idea is that it's special, right? So I don't know. I think you're totally right, though. I think people have just become more negative. I've also noticed too, with a lot of these Disney blogs have become so clickbaity, and within the clickbait is just negative nonsense. You know what I mean? It's like, you'll never guess what ride was down today, and then you click on it, it's like it was down for 5 minutes. It was,
Well, I think that's also set all these expectations for the Star Wars hotel that are just can't be lived up to anymore.
Sure.
Like people were posting about how so many people are canceling because, like, why? We haven't even seen it yet.
Yeah,
exactly. Relax, man.
And
I agree. Sorry, Trevor. Go.
That's my problem with all of this right now is, that's the prime example, Dame, is, social media is making people believe something that, this is a flop. And it's like, it doesn't even open until March. I want to see what people legitimately say about it, not a bunch of rumors and a bunch of
and there's a difference between having an opinion on something versus that. Right. And I think that's also, a lot of opinion gets kind of twisted into this whole situation. Like, look, I am not really about this new coaster, the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Because I've seen rides like that. I feel like, I don't know exactly what it is, but I feel comfortable enough knowing enough about roller coasters, enough about similar type roller coasters, and enough about what's been posted to go, I'm not really super excited about that. But there's just not enough info out there about this Star Wars stuff to make a good, you don't know. We have no idea. It's not a physical thing, right? It's like, I don't know. I was a little disappointed by that, but then I was saying to myself, well, maybe it's better not to go be one of the first people if that's really what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think social media ruins a lot of this and does change expectations for people and does kind of turn certain things into a problem when they're not necessarily a problem, right? I mean, like I said, so many of these, even some of the blogs that I used to like before, just because everybody wants clicks, right? So they just go to all this clickbaity stuff. And I even saw somebody post the other day, to your point, Damon, somebody posted in one of the groups was like, anybody have any reviews of the Star Wars hotel? Not sure if I'm interested or not. And it's like, I've seen a lot of negative reviews online. I'm like, what? Reviews of what? It's not open.
Yeah, you see a bunch of negative comments online.
Yeah, exactly.
Negative opinions, but not reviews.
Yeah, not reviews. Give it time, man.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, Damon. I'm totally with you on that. So, all right. I think we covered that. So Michelle asked, have you ever traveled with a large party? We're traveling with 20 total, 9 adults, 11 kids, oldest 18, youngest 7. 2 of the families in the party are DVC. 1 family of 3 never been. What's your suggestion for eating? Beer garden, our thought with that large party. We'll be there for Flower and Garden. Want to eat around the world to some extent, but large party isn't conducive. I disagree. I actually think a large party is conducive to eating around the world because you can just kind of like peel off people. I mean, because you don't have to worry about one cuisine, right? You just, as you walk around, 10 members of the party go, oh, I want a thing from this booth. And then those people go and get stuff from that booth. I don't know. I think that's a great way to do it personally.
Yeah. The whole thing about that is that, like you've said before, when you go to do eating around the world, you can't, it's too much food if it's just even a couple of you. But if you've got a large party, you can buy like 1 or 2 of something and everyone that wants to try can share and try it. And then you move, like you said, you move on to the next booth or on to the next thing. So I actually think, for large parties like that, that would definitely work a lot better. For myself, the most that we've ever done was, it was 9 of us. So it was my family, my cousins, and then they brought 2 of their friends, and I remember that it was very like we never actually had a sit down meal together, like as the entire group, because of the fact that everybody was in so many different directions all the time. And so that's actually, again, why I think something like Flower and Garden Festival is definitely to your benefit, because you're never going to get everybody to agree on everything all at once. Even if you pick, I'm thinking just in Epcot, like there's no one restaurant that I would say like they have the most spread of food that you could, get everybody's agreement.
Everybody would want to eat it.
Yeah. Right. Like even in my, I have 3 people in my family and we can't all agree on eating the same thing sometimes. So
the only place I can think of is Sunshine Seasons. That's the only place I can think of because there's like 3 different options, of different kinds of food. And it's just like a big food court, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, it's like a food court and you've got the different stations where you can kind of pick what everyone wants.
But that's like the only place you can really do that.
Yeah.
Besides not Food and Wine, but Flower and Garden, besides the Flower and Garden booths.
Yeah. And I mean, alternately to that, the other, I wouldn't, there's no way I would suggest doing Space 220 with 20 people. That would be crazy. Garden Grill, again, it's the same food, like it's family style. And so you could get, 2 or 3 booths and do that. But again, not everybody is going to agree with that or say that's what they want to eat. So it all does circle back to the flower and garden food booths are still your best option.
Every time we've done it with a bigger group, now we've never done 20, right? But I think the most we've done is 7 of us, I guess. 7. Yeah. For even with that amount of people, the biggest thing that we always had a problem with, or not had a problem with, we did it one time where it was we tried to stay together the whole time, but that actually caused conflict. With having a bigger group, I think you should just let people kind of do their own thing. You know what I mean? And I know it's not doing it together, but I mean, if 3 people in the group want to go and do something else, then go and do something else. And hey, when you're done, let us know. We'll come find you. You know what I mean? That causes way less conflict, I think, personally, because we've had that situation too, and it was there was some people that didn't want to do this or didn't want to go to this place, so we just ended up doing things separately, and it was way better. Everybody was happier. Yeah,
and I think I just thought of the one place where you may get agreement from everybody is actually Via Napoli. But again, the whole point of it is that I would, I would say that that's like you said, everybody's off doing their own thing, but you all agree to meet there at a particular time. And then the pizzas at Via Napoli are huge. So you could order a couple of, or I don't know, 4.
You could order that family style one that feeds 10 people.
Yeah. So yeah, you could order a couple of those and then everybody could have pizza. But again, that's assuming that, the entire party all agrees on pizza, which is mostly safe. I wouldn't say, everybody likes pizza, because I know that not everybody does, but
bring them to me, Trevor. I want to meet these people that don't like pizza.
One of my son's friends actually won't eat pizza. He does not like melted cheese. So
get out of here with that. No,
I know. I've tried, but he doesn't listen to me because, I'm just I'm my son's friend's dad. I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Damon, do you have any advice for large groups?
We'll come back to David.
No, I've never traveled with a large group anyway. So, I mean, my groups, I don't think that 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is not a large group to me. Wait, no, 7, not 7. Hold on. 8. Yeah, 8's not a large group to me. So no.
20's pretty big. I say you get the oldest to take care of the youngest, and all the adults go and have a good time. 7's pretty young, I guess, to leave with an 18-year-old. But anyway, Dan wants to know, and Dan usually asks weird questions, so this is a kind of a basic question for Dan. What are your 2022 Disney New Year's resolutions? I have a feeling I know what yours are, Trevor, but
mine are nothing. So nothing.
My resolutions, I just want to go back.
That's what I figured you were going to say.
That's not really a resolution. That's falling more and more towards almost demanding it at this point. But
I just want this meetup to happen. That's all I care about. Because we had to cancel the last meetup. I want to meet some listeners. I want to see Trevor. Hopefully get to see David too. Maybe we'll see. But
that's not going to happen. Wait, when is it?
May
13th to 16th.
I got 4 more months.
Yeah, dude, I'm definitely not going to the parks if I go.
Oh no, we're going to Disney Springs.
No. I have no plan to go to the parks.
I don't know where I'd be staying though. I don't know where I would stay, because there's no way I don't think I could get anything at Disney at this point.
I have a studio at Saratoga. If you'd like to stay in my studio at Saratoga, you're welcome to.
That might actually that might change my thought process. Yeah.
And why not? Yeah, it's just going to be me coming down. So, yeah, there you go.
Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be something. I didn't say fun. I said something. That would be something.
That makes me want to stay at the park until midnight, and then bust in the door at midnight while Damon's trying to sleep.
Yeah, that would not make me very happy. But hold on, what does the Saratoga studio look like? What's the room situation? I got the couch or something. What do I got?
No. I think they're two. Yeah, I think they're. Well, some of them. Hold on. Let's see.
No, Saratoga's the one. They've actually got 2 queens, don't they?
That's what I thought, because I stayed at Old Key West and it had 2 queens. I'm trying to think of what it was at Saratoga. No, it was the pull down from the wall in the studio. So, but it was comfortable though. I slept in it the last time I went.
Yeah, as long as it's like a real bed, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's Old Key West that has the 2 queens in there.
Wait, but who's actually going?
I don't know yet. We have a fair amount of people that have RSVP'd though. I mean, or said they were interested at least. So, and I'm sure that'll increase as we get closer. You know.
Let me see. I gotta look at the list now. I gotta look at the list and see if the people I want to see are going. Where is it? It's on our Facebook.
It's contingent on whether there's cool people that Damon wants to meet.
I wonder events. Okay. Hold on. Events 1. I don't know how to open it though. Responses. I can't tell. Help.
I'm getting there. Hold on.
Oh wait. I'm there. I see it now. Okay. Responses only 19.
There were more than that before.
See, people have canceled.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is fair. You know.
Yeah. Totally understand. But I don't think I can. Oh no. Did I have my silly Facebook thing? I can't tell who actually has responded though.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll have to see. I'm sure it'll change as it gets closer. You know, we haven't really promoted this event all that much. So
yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be like, you know, pushing it on people, and you know, we hadn't even gotten to 2022 yet, right? Like, yeah. I mean, just kind of like my trip is, you know, I was really sure that this February trip was going to happen, and then we canceled it here at pretty much the last minute. The meetup, though, again, that's going to be a little different because it is just me traveling. And
oh wait, I found it now.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for me, and
there's only
I'm
one
like
person
99% sure that I'm going. So
okay, there's only one person that has committed to going.
There was definitely more than that the last time I looked. I don't know if a lot of people bailed, but
there's 18 people that are interested, but only one that's committed to going
for now. Yeah. Well,
is that Derek? It better be Derek.
Well, Derek said he was going to come, so but it isn't Derek.
He'd better commit to it. I'm
of RSVP'd. So
yeah, I'm saying that right now, Derek. You better show up.
This is making our meetup sound really sad, Damon. You should be.
Hey man, I can only tell you what is out there. I can't do anything more than that.
Let me say this: is that at this point, I've met 0 people who listen to this podcast. So anything greater than 1. I will be happy with, because I have not gotten a chance to meet any of our listeners.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I've met quite a few, and I know Damon's met quite a few. So, okay, what were we talking about again? I'm completely lost.
We were on New Year's resolutions.
Oh yeah. Do you want to do well? Let's do Becky's question and then move on to other stuff.
Yeah,
how about
that? Okay.
Because I like this
repeat questions, but we've already
no. This isn't a repeat. I don't think this is. I don't think this is a repeat. I don't know why
it says right in the question. This is somewhat of a repeat question,
but she's not sure.
I'm sure.
So Becky says you're all cast members of the Walt Disney World and can choose the role of your co-host from one of the following: attractions, entertainment, or custodian.
Why can't I choose my own role?
But that's the point. Is that
it makes it more fun. Another. Yeah. No. I want Damon to be the Mad Hatter. How about that?
I mean, I would do any of these roles, but I would still rather not do any of them.
See, I would. Okay, if I was going to
want to work food, Damon? Like I'm working food. I'm chefing it up. I'm a chef.
You want to be like in their taste kitchen, like coming up with the dishes and all that.
No,
just a taster.
I just want to be chefing stuff up.
Okay, got it.
You see, I would have picked for Damon to be like concierge at one of the hotels, because you would be like, you would tell people how it is. And I think that would be amazing.
I think what it would be is that if I really was like, I would be in trouble because I'd be giving away free stuff all the time.
What about Damon and guest relations?
I would do the same thing though. I would just continue to give away free stuff. So I'd be in trouble. Like everyone would love me, but I'd be in trouble with like the mouse
manager. See, I thought you would just be like, someone would complain and be like, oh yeah, got screwed. Sorry.
I don't know if they complain, they get nothing. I'm just in general, like it would be everyone would get everything unless you complain. That's kind of what my situation
You see, that's where I think it would be great is that, yeah, you like when people were nice, you would be like super nice to them.
Absolutely.
But then when they're negative, then you would just shut them down, and I would love to see that.
Next guest, please. Next guest.
Nope, you're done.
You're done. Get away from me. Get away from the window. Oh man. I mean, personally, I've always wanted to be a ride operator personally. I mean, when I was a kid, I tried to be a ride operator.
Dude, we would stick you on that stupid ride you love so much. What is that? Big Thunder Mountain?
Yeah,
we would stick you on that.
All right, I'm in. Thanks. Doing me a favor. I'm in.
But no, you're not allowed to ride the ride. You get to watch everybody else ride.
I mean, that's fine. Listen,
Trevor do.
Just Trevor.
Dude, I'm sticking Trevor in Canada. You're at Epcot. In Canada.
Bring some real Canada to Canada.
I'm at the Root store in Canada. Okay.
You're the guy that has to run the movie for the O Canada or whatever that thing is.
The O Canada movie. Yeah. There you go. Okay. I like it. So he's not even like one of the cultural representatives that's like, checking you out when you buy maple syrup in the store. Okay.
Just the guy, please sit in the middle of the room.
Yes, that guy. That's you.
Okay. That's good. See, I like Big Thunder Ride Operator. I feel like that ride's got a fun energy. You got a lot of people in the station. They'll start yelling and screaming. Yeah, it's a good time. I like it.
But then you're the guy telling everyone to move all the way down the line because they stop halfway down the last ramp.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You have to keep... you'd have to keep telling them to move forward and fill in all the available space.
Oh, I hate the fill all the available space. Well, mostly, I don't hate that they're telling people that. I hate that you have to tell people that. It drives me crazy.
Right, which... can you imagine if you had a whole day of that?
Dude, what if they didn't do that?
They just didn't say anything?
Yeah, like, wouldn't it be better?
Well, no, because the lines would be longer, wouldn't they?
And then what would happen when the lines are longer? Because the ride lines wouldn't actually be longer. Like, let me rephrase that. The ride lines would be physically longer,
the length,
but the amount of time to get on the ride wouldn't be. So it would be like this whole psychology experiment of it being like, oh, that line looks too long. Let's not get on it. See, I don't know.
I think in the case of Big Thunder though, because like at that last switchback when you go down the ramp
where it splits,
if people aren't at the front, it takes longer to load people if they're not actually moving down the ramp because the people at the front are trying to line people up for the next car, right? And if everyone's halfway up the ramp, it is actually going to slow down getting on the ride.
I don't know, man. I feel like you bring up a empty train, people are going to get on it.
Unless they're up on that ramp and they don't even see the train, because that's what happens is that people are having their own conversations and don't realize that the rest of the line is already like 200 meters in front of them.
Maybe.
Oh man. That's funny. So are we going to skip ahead to the AR thing that Damon, are we going to talk about?
Yeah, let's skip ahead to that. I'm like super excited about this. I don't want to read it, but I'm super excited to talk about it.
It's okay. I'll read it. So Disney was recently granted a patent for AR without headsets.
And for everyone that is not part of the Patreon, it goes to O. So yes, there is O underneath.
There's a lot of bullets.
A lot of bullets, man.
Well, this is an interesting thing, right? So the idea of this is that it's a virtual world simulator that enables multiple users to experience a 3D virtual world from multiple vantage points without glasses, goggles, or digital devices. So they're calling it like a virtual metaverse, which just sounds like a stupid buzzword right now.
I hate that buzzword.
I know, seriously, it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But Disney's patent takes digital simulation one step beyond virtual reality and augmented reality. It does seem like this could only be like a couple people at a time, right, that are doing this. And
I don't understand even what it is, though. So, like, what's it going to do? Is it a hologram?
It says, let's see, the 3D virtual effects projected by Disney's virtual world simulator and real world venues can include animated characters, simulated objects, props, and art.
Do we call it a hologram? Because it seems like that's what it is.
It kind of feels that way, yeah.
See, and it was interesting because I follow along with most of the groups, but I don't necessarily always follow along with like the news. I kind of find it more enjoyable for Tom to find the news. And then I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I read it and I go, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I am not like, and I had this conversation with my wife today. Like, there's nothing that's coming to Disney that interests me besides holograms.
Okay.
Like, that is the like game changer of Disney that I think I've been waiting for. Like I said, the Tron, dude, that's Hagrid's, right? Like, to me, it's probably a worse Hagrid's, to be honest with you. And then, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a time traveler with some screens. Like, that's how I feel about those things. Because We've done that. But holograms? Oh boy. Like, you have me really interested. If Disney could pull off something with holograms that you could walk through and like characters would interact with you like you're in a movie or cartoon, like not this Ride of Resistance. Look, it sounds cool, right? But at the end of the day, it's nothing new. What's new about it? It's a lot of something we've seen before, but it's nothing new. But holograms? I'm in. And this is what this seems like. And this is why this has me excited to think about going back to the parks, because otherwise I have no interest. But
it says, so rather than look at through a phone screen or headset, Disney developed a system almost similar to a movie projector to project on a real surface what humans see on the screen. But my assumption is that it moves as you move, right? So like it, you know, because it's like AR, it's when you move in your head, it's moving with you kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, the further down it says the virtual world simulator uses a SLAM technique, which stands for simultaneous localization and mapping, to continuously track the ever-changing point of view of a visitor moving through a real world venue,
holodeck,
like a theme park attraction.
Like, can we get a holodeck without tactile functioning? Like, is that what we're talking about here?
I mean,
it kind of sounds like it, and that would be awesome.
Yeah, like that's kind of moving close to that. It sounds like
a holodeck with no like touch.
It's interesting. I don't even know what they're going to try to use this for. I was interested to learn that they already use AR training for cast members, for ride operators, on how to.
But that's boring.
I mean, it's cool that I'm just saying it's cool that they do that, and they also mentioned too, and I heard a rumor about this a while ago, but I didn't know they actually did it, where they had like a window kind of on the ride vehicle for Safari, and like and so the window would have. They had like radar technology and camera monitors, and it showed all sorts of like facts, I guess, about the. Oh, well, here's an example. It says right here, it's Disney Research and Development Arm developed an augmented reality technology, I can't speak, that could let visitors don AR costumes of their favorite superheroes and princesses in the park for souvenir snapshots. So they're doing that already, but there could be more to it, though. Yeah.
That's not good enough, man.
But no, I mean, who knows how they're going to use this? I have no idea.
Aerial drone footage, that was the thing, visitors close-up view of the safari animals. Like, it's got to be real time, though. Like, it
was, yeah. I think that's what it was. It was like real time, like this around. Window would show you like a giraffe and then give you all sorts of facts about the giraffe.
Yeah, I don't know if I want a drone flying around while I'm safaring now.
Yeah, that's fair. But
yeah, I don't
was
know.
Just
that
a pilot,
takes me out of it. Yeah, I like I said, if we could get a non-tactile holodeck, I'm in. Like that's when I'm excited to go to Disney again.
All right. I thought this was a really interesting thing, but I guess I have to see it to really understand it, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if I need a little bit more information here, I want to combine it with the Typhoon Lagoon opening and have underwater projected holograms in the wave pool.
Nope.
That might be the coolest thing ever.
What, like a shark chasing you?
No.
Like Ariel and like Sebastian.
Okay, fine. All right. Okay, yeah. When you initially said, "Oh yeah, let's have 3D projected things under the water," yeah, initially all I could think of was like a Jaws type scenario.
No. Like something like that. I also want to go on record here saying that Encanto was not good. That just came in my mind as well.
I've been hearing everyone saying it was great.
Dude, no. It was beautiful, but dude, what was her power?
I didn't see it yet.
She didn't have
okay.
Yeah.
She was actually there to bring the house back together because
Why didn't she have a power though? Why didn't she have a power?
I'm blaming it on the grandma.
Yeah, no, it didn't do it. It didn't do it. There was not enough information out there to make it a solid movie. Like, I wanted to like it, but what was her power? Go Google that and tell me what it says, because it says some ridiculous stuff.
I thought the whole movie was about her not having a power. I thought that was like the whole thing. I mean, I haven't
not talking about Bruno.
I watched the first 10 minutes of it. My daughter.
I like the Bruno situation though. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I thought that was the best part of the whole movie. But what's her power? I just no.
I thought that was the whole point of the movie, but I haven't watched it, so.
Yeah, they covered that in like the first 5 minutes. She doesn't have a power.
Yeah, but then
why is your answer? Your question is why?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to make it that she doesn't have one, then why doesn't she?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean,
this is a whole rabbit hole we could go down, but yeah,
but it was good looking. Like I said, I liked the look of it. I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah, it's good music, good.
You know, but the way the music went, the only thing I would say is the music got very congested in the middle. Like it was like music after music after music after music. I felt like it should have been spread out a little bit more.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because it definitely
there was a spot.
There was a long section where like nothing, and then all of a sudden it was like song after song, right? So,
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So they didn't space the songs out well enough.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so.
How did we end up in Encanto?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Right.
Why don't we? Because we were talking about AR, and then I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how we got to there from AR.
That's just sometimes what my brain does. Actually, I think it's maybe because I was looking at the ending of these football games, and then I went from there to TV, then I went from there to Netflix, and then I went from there to Disney Plus. But I will tell you that, while I was sick, I got to finish the second season of Mandalorian and then start Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Boba Fett pretty fire.
Yeah, is it? I haven't watched that.
Oh, it's pretty fire.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I was surprised at how fire it was. Like,
did you like the second season of Mandalorian too? I mean,
is it possible for me to say that like I don't really like? I thought the Grogu thing in the first season was cool, but now like I kind of want to not like it.
You want him to go away now? You want something else?
I mean, obviously it's way past season 2, so I mean he kind of does go away, right?
Oh well, yeah. So, I assume that at some point the show is going to go on without him, right? Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's not.
He's too big of a character.
If it goes away without him, then I'm on board. But I kind of worry that it might not. But I thought that like Boba Fett was like really good in terms of what it's looked. I don't know. I just liked it. I liked it. Just kind of delving out, kind of carving out more of the history of the Tusken Raiders is awesome. I don't know. I liked it.
Trevor, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, okay.
You guys have not seen Boba Fett?
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my to-do
I
list.
have not. I haven't had a chance this last week. I've been busy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you want to talk about next? What do you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Festival of the Arts stuff? Do you want to?
No. I don't think I want to talk about anything else. I think I'm talked out now.
You think you talked about everything? Okay.
I mean, everything that I want to talk about.
I mean, what about Typhoon Lagoon reopening with like 5?
I did. I said there should be underwater projections.
Well, I'm talking about all the new Dole Whip flavors. You got mango and pineapple and lime and raspberry.
Okay, I've tried lime. Lime is not good. Raspberry,
lime sounds good to me. I'd go for lime.
I had a lime one at the Polynesian. It wasn't very good.
I could go with lime because lime has to be balanced with something else.
You
so
need
it would
like
have to be the one where you get the vanilla
Yeah.
and lime. I don't think I could do just lime.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Mango, maybe. I mean, I like mango, but I don't know if I want a mango Dole Whip. And raspberries.
Like mango.
Yeah.
Like mango is okay, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Stand by Remy's Ratatouille venture? No.
I thought you wanted to talk about that. You don't? Okay.
No, I don't want to talk about that because I don't care about stand by or not stand by.
Can we
I'm just
talk
looking
about-
at this list of things.
But I mean, usually you like to talk about food. I mean, how about this Figment popcorn bucket at the International Festival of the Arts? How about that?
I think popcorn buckets are stupid.
Even if
so
it's Figment?
with that said, if anybody happens to be at Epcot and gets one of those Figment popcorn buckets, message me on the side because I do actually like it. So
I mean, I like it, but as a popcorn bucket, like here's
What are
the
you going
thing.
to do with it afterwards?
What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
we use ours.
All
to
the
hold
popcorn.
pens.
Yeah, see, all the popcorn buckets I have sit in my pantry, and they're not. We don't look at them. So
Yeah, like if there was, that's kind of what I feel like about popcorn buckets.
All right.
That's why I can kind of take them or leave them.
well, what about these attraction posters from this one artist? That he's got a Maelstrom one.
No, I
No?
mean that sounds awesome. Like, but attraction posters.
Love attraction.
The style of them is not. I mean, they all look like the Jungle Cruise attraction poster to me, which Yeah.
Like they don't even like
it doesn't
skew Disney.
It doesn't fit the theme of the ride, I don't think.
Oh, see, I like this style. This is just from one particular artist that I pulled,
right?
But there's some other stuff. But see, I like the Spaceship Earth one. I feel like it's very like, I don't even know, 70s. Like it feels very like a cool old art style. I don't know. I like
Hollywood Tower one looks okay.
I like the Spaceship Earth one. I think that's the one I like the most. But I mostly put this on here because of the Maelstrom one because I thought that was a fun.
I mean, it is. I just don't know what I do with these. I'm kind of torn in between like this spare bedroom that I have. Like, how much Disney do I want? I have a cell from Winnie the Pooh in there already, but I don't know what else I want to put in there. I was kind of thinking that I want to put in a picture of the kids from like, if I can get like 10 years in a row, which I think I can. Of the kids at a picture at Disney, and then do
in the same
like
spot, like or just
no, just them at Disney for like 10 years in a row.
Okay, that'd be cool.
I think I can pull that off because I think I photo passed an awful lot. Like I don't think I ever didn't photo pass, so I think I should be able to pull that off. But I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that sounds really cool.
Because I have that for Hilton Head. I have a picture of them with the Fusky in the background on the beach facing the opposite way. And I have that picture for 17 years straight. Yeah. And I gave that to my wife. Yeah. Cause I had 17 years straight and counting and counting.
Nice. See,
yeah, that's right. I forgot to tell you guys, I added what did I say I'm doing? Oh, I'm going back to Hilton Head in April.
Yeah, didn't you say you also did a Vera? You have the Vera for spring break, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Vera for spring break. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm going to Hilton Head. It's my wife's birthday. And again, because we have points and I'm not really about the park, I just was like, nah, not really interested. That was my dog barking, by the way. My dog almost never barks.
I was going to say, that's like pretty rare. I think all of our dogs have barked on here at some point, but I feel like we haven't heard yours.
No, it's because my son's girlfriend is here and she like barks if anybody new comes into the house. But it's like a bark and then she goes over and like licks you, but it's just kind of letting you know. So I'm going back to Hilton Head for my wife's birthday. I mean, we're all going though, the whole family, but I think we're going for like 2 days just to burn points again. Like I'm all about burning points at Vero and Hilton Head for the next like 2 years. Like I'm okay with that.
It's not a bad plan. Yeah.
No, because again, I feel like I've already paid for those contracts, excluding the Riviera one, right? Like in terms of like getting my money's worth out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me if it's Hilton Head or Disney or Vero. And I'm excited to go to Vero, to be honest with you. I'm really excited to go to Vero.
Yeah, I've heard good things. So I'm interested to see how it goes for you.
Yeah, because it's just that little bit of a different trip. Like Hilton Head is kind of passe because it's been going for 20 years straight, right? Yeah, 20 years straight. Crazy. And it's like kind of more of a second home than a vacation.
Okay.
So I think it will be interesting to go to Vero where it's a little different because I haven't been there as much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested because I kind of want to go there too. So that's kind of on my list. I mean, that might end up happening this year. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think one of the questions somebody asked was about like why I don't really feel this need to go to the parks per se. And I think it's just as kind of the kids get older, it becomes more fun to have that experience of a resort like Hilton Head or hopefully Vero in terms of kind of like hanging out than going on a ride. Like it's really cool when your kid's 10 and you go on a new ride or even younger and they've seen a character for the first time in the parks or, you go on a ride like that. And it's really cool for them. My 18-year-old is not going to be like, oh, Mickey's Runaway Train. Like, yes. Right. Like he's going to be more like, oh, that was cool. But there's a different experience than going to, let's say like Vero or Hilton Head and having a little bit more kind of family time, I guess. I think that's where I just am in my, family situation. So it's not necessarily a knock on Disney per se. It's just kind of like, this is that break time, right? So you got, your kids and then they get a little bit older and you have this little break and then grandkids, right? You got to you have that little break in there. For me, that's kind of, I think, where we are right now, which is okay in terms of DVC, because I think, people say, a lot of people of my friends are like, well, I don't think I want to go to Disney, all the time. And it's like, dude, you're missing out if you're not going to Hilton Head. Like, especially if you don't already have a place there, it can kind of become this, family vacation that holds a little bit of meaning because you are going somewhere kind of repeatedly sometimes. It's kind of cool. I don't know. That's kind of, I know somebody asked that question, and that's kind of my take on it. I just have no real interest in Disney right now in terms of the money, in terms of, the current world situation. But like, it's not like money is the deciding factor of not going. I've been looking up dude ranches because that's what I want to do with my oldest before he goes to college. And I kind of go like, man, dude ranch versus Disney for a 19-year-old or 18-year-old, like, kind of want to hit that dude ranch. So it's not that it's necessarily the money of Disney, like, is too much. It's just for that same money, I want to try something a little bit different and all inclusive to boot.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
I get that.
It totally makes sense, Damon. And honestly, like, even this last year, because of the fact that we couldn't go to Disney, we had a couple of smaller trips just out to the mountains and whatnot. That the funny thing is that we, again, not Disney, and because of the fact that we knew we couldn't go to Disney, we're like, well, let's just go and check out these places that we'd said we were going to go to.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was always on the back burner. Like, it was always Disney or
absolutely
something else. Well, right.
You kind of get caught up in this thing with Disney. If there was no COVID, I think that I just would have continued to flip the switch every year. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, it wouldn't have been any different. And not that there's anything wrong with that per se. It's just, I think there is a lot more stuff out there, especially when you think about how much money you spend at Disney, that, like, for me, this is just a little bit of a break. It's not anything other than that. But I would take an experience of, let's say, a dude ranch with, like, clay shooting, horseback riding, and things like that for a new experience while I kind of wait out this time between, kids and grandkids. I kind of feel like, I don't know. That's just how I feel. Like, I'm glad I have DVC. Again, obviously I just bought more DVC last year or this year or last year, right? If it's not a year ago, but within 2021. So it's not like I'm not going to go back, but I just needed a little bit of a break. And I think my kids did too. It becomes a little less special as the kids get older. And interestingly enough, we've had friends that just told us, like, their 18-year-old was like, yeah, man, I just don't want to go. And I don't necessarily think I want to have to tell my kids, like, hey, we're going to Disney. And I don't necessarily want to hear back, I really don't want to go. I'd rather take that little break and we're like, hey, we're going to Disney again. Oh, yeah, we haven't been there in a while. That sounds good. Like, I'd rather that. Like, you definitely don't want to OD your kids on Disney. I think it can backfire sometimes.
Oh, yeah, you're totally right.
Sure. Yeah, that's basically my best friend, right? So my best friend, his parents, who are like second parents to me, they are the first DVC owners I ever met. They're the first ones that told me about DVC, and they used to go to Disney they still go to Disney all the time. I don't know what I'm saying used to. And they kind of wore him out of it, right? So like, He didn't go for years and years and years. His parents were still going, when he was an adult, and they'd always invite him and he'd always be like, no. And then recently, over the past couple of years, he's been going back and kind of got back into it again, and just kind of got back into going again and enjoying himself, and especially going with us and going with, my daughter and all that. So it just kind of, it just kind of changed. He needed a break, and it was just a longer break, but he got kind of, like you said, he kind of OD'd on Disney in his childhood.
Yeah. I mean, there's a magic that goes in from 0 to 10, maybe 11 or maybe even 12. There's a different magic of Disney when your kids are that age. As they kind of get older, and then, we've done a lot of different things at Disney. So, going to, what's that place again? I want to say the Void. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. The Void.
Going to the Void, was interesting, but again, I don't know, man. I'll tell you the truth. If I'm going back to an amusement park, it is going to be for Nintendo Land and Universal. That is next on my list. If there's either that or they open a Hunger Games park, like, those are the two things that interest me. If Disney can pull out some VR, I'm there. But those are the things that are kind of interesting to me.
That's Hunger Games feels like a random one to me, but
no, could you imagine a Hunger Games park?
I mean, but what do you do there? Like,
Dude, what don't you do there?
Get hunted by.
Yeah, you get hunted. That's what I'm saying.
Like, think about the ride, though. Think about the rides that you could put along with the Hunger Games.
I think there is a Hunger Games park in like Dubai or something.
You're gonna make me look it up because that would be awesome.
I think there is.
But to your point, Damon, about like, my son asked about going to Universal as well, and I said the same thing. As I was like, I'm not going to bother until Super Nintendo World is open, because that's Oh,
I'm going. Yeah,
that's what I want to experience. But I'm kind of playing this the same way that you are. Is that we ask my son every year. We're like, hey, you want to go to Disney? Obviously, these last 2 years we haven't been able to, but he's still very much on board. He's we're like, we can go somewhere else. He's like, no, I want to go back to Disney. The last couple of years being a break for him, I think is making him want to go more. And it also, unfortunately, we kind of hit that, or I know we've hit that transition phase that you were talking about, once they get past about 10 years old.
Yep.
I know it'll be different for him the next time that we go, but I'm totally going to do it the same way. Is that when he gets to the point where he's saying, I don't want to go, or I want to do something else, then fine. We won't do that trip, but we'll still have DVC. We'll still decide whether or not my wife and I want to go, or on the flip side, we may look at something like Interval or some of the other experiences that they're offering that are not necessarily at the parks. And that's the nice thing about it, right? Is that you don't have to necessarily go. You could still go, like we had talked about, like going to Disney without actually going to the parks is also feasible, right? Yeah.
I think my wife and myself were always like, hey, once we retire and the kids kind of have their break, that we would go by ourselves and just kind of do whatever. So
that's what my friends' parents do. That's what they never go to the parks. They just go to the resorts and hang at the resorts. That's what they do.
I did look up the Hunger Games thing that you sent me as well. I was already there. It looks pretty terrible. Like, I don't need to just dude, just rolling through a hovercraft in Capital City is not a ride.
I told you it's I remember not being great, but I was right. It was in Dubai. I can't believe I guessed that right.
But I can tell you that, like, if there was a real Hunger Games ride, like, that would be kind of cool.
Oh, they were going to build it in Atlanta too. They were going to build one in Atlanta, but apparently
that would be cool. I definitely would hit that.
Yeah, it's not too far for us.
But this is, again, it's just another 3D flight simulator type ride. Like, give me holograms. Give me hologram Hunger Games game.
I get it. I understand. Yeah. So, but you're saying you want to be in the hunt, like you want to get like hunted? Is that like? I think it would just be cool become laser tag at that point, though.
No, but think about it. If you had like the hologram experience of following one of the contestants.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You could do the train, like the train would be cool.
Yeah,
I'd do the train.
They have a Capital Bullet Train ride there, but it's just a triple launch roller coaster. That goes forward and backwards.
Yeah, that's not so exciting. Dude,
top speed of 50.
Give me holograms, man. I'm in for holograms.
You just want all you want is holograms. I don't think
all I want is holograms.
Too much is holograms. Yeah.
Yeah. If they can do a Tupac concert, the Disney can do Donald Duck ride. I feel like.
Well, the problem is making it personal. They can do that, right? But like, how do they make it personalized to you, right? Like, how do they make it so that it's not just for everyone that's standing in the area, right?
But I'm okay with that. Like, if you can give me, like, being in let's say a cartoon, right, with holograms.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. Everyone doesn't need to be from the same perspective. Like, I'm okay if there's just holograms. Like, Grunkle Stan, like, walking around, like, that would be awesome. Like, I would be cool with that. Yeah. Again, the experience doesn't have to be necessarily the same. I don't know how you pull that off in a ride format with people not walking through the holograms. I think that's kind of the dilemma.
Well, I mean, they have a sort of hologram in the pre-show for Rise of Resistance, but it's like, it's out of your reach, right? Like but it looks really good. Like, you can't see the screen that it's projecting on and when it comes up, you don't see it. It doesn't look like a screen. It looks like an actual like hologram.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a hologram with no screen.
Oh, I know. Yeah, but you can't. I mean, I'm saying you can't really see it. It looks like you're looking at like an empty tube, and then all of a sudden, there's a person. But
I've seen that with Stitch though. Like, you're not telling me anything new, right? Like, I want a walking around hologram.
I see what you're saying. I get it.
That's the point, right? Is it's not just limited to one space or very focused, is that it has to be like almost like an entire set just appearing out of nowhere without.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to call this episode Holograms and Other Things. Like just holograms.
Damon and the holograms, truly outrageous.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Jem hanging out.
Yeah.
Damon and the holograms. Sounds like a band. Oh, man. Okay.
I feel like you didn't grow up in the same 80s that we did, Tom. You told me.
I did.
He's younger than, well, I'm older than both of you, but he's younger, way younger. You weren't watching Jem and the Holograms at 5. You were watching Sesame Street. Stop.
Probably, yeah. I know that reference, though. I didn't hear you say it.
How many episodes of Jem and the Holograms did you see?
Oh, God, I don't know. I know the reference. I'm just saying I didn't watch. I watched it. I just know of it.
We all had to suffer through that.
Yeah, I had an older sister, so I had to. It was on a lot.
And it was a terrible cartoon.
It was.
Very terrible. It was no Centurions, I'll tell you that much.
Anyway,
I don't even know where we are anymore.
It's over. I think the episode is over. You just don't know it yet.
No, I want to talk about this food from the Festival of the Arts.
Oh yeah, all right. You guys talk about that food. I see. This is the first time I'm going to let everyone know I'm actually leaving prior to the food conversation. Wow, sorry, everybody.
I thought we were going to talk about the DVC news as well. And
we could talk about that too. That. Yeah, we could talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely leaving that.
Oh, we want to talk about standby. We want to talk about standby for Remy's too. We can talk about that. All right. That's fine, Damon.
All right.
we could call it a day. Bye, Damon.
We'll see you next time, Damon.
Yeah, see you next time. You made it longer than you usually do, so that's good news. So, so DVC affiliation added to Magic Mobile. Now, we talked about this before. This was coming, but now it's set up. I did notice that I already had Magic Mobile set up, and I already have a DVC card, but I don't think it actually shows my entitlements. I mean, like my affiliations or whatever. So I think I need to go and redo it.
I'm going to look at this right now because now that you're saying that, I'm going to check if mine is in the same position.
Because I think I just chose, when I did Magic Mobile, I think I just chose the DVC style. You know what I mean? Because you could choose different card styles, but it doesn't like say anything on it. So I don't know. I'll have to. And I actually thought this was really useful. And this was from DVC News, who I think we've had on the show before. I want to say we did. I've at least talked to the person that runs DVC News. But anyway, yeah, so they actually had a good tip on here. Is if you don't see it, then you just have to redo it, basically. So apparently there's a QR code that even comes up on it, too, that they can possibly scan at some point. But maybe it will take them time to do that. So you would think they wouldn't need the QR code, right? Like, why can't they just scan it like they do Magic Band and then see your affiliations, right? Like, why would they need a separate thing? It's just odd to me, but
I don't. The whole splitting things up the way that they have it's weird because they go to so much effort to try and make it all seamless, but then you hit things like this where it's so clearly like, could you not just make it all work together?
Well, right? I mean, it's better than it used to be, because it used to be that all of our DVC entitlements and such were not even in the app, right? Now, if you look at your profile, like mine says, annual pass holder, DVC, and credit card holder, right? So like it has all those three in the app, which it never did before. So at least it's got that going for it, right?
Yeah, I guess it's getting there. It's a little frustrating because it's like, I think we're all ready for it, and it just seems like it's taking longer than it should.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this before. It's like, the whole, a lot of people I feel like get very confused about the whole Genie Plus thing. And I think it's Disney's fault because they decided to name things different things when they could have made this really easy, right? Because like the Lightning Lane is just like, you buy Genie Plus to get you into the Lightning Lane. They should have just called it the Genie Plus Lane, because then no one would have been confused. You know what I mean? Like, just call it the Genie Plus Lane and then you're good to go.
Because they had to be very careful about that, though, because I mean we already see that now, that people get confused about what's what, right? Like it doesn't.
But I think it made it more confusing that it's called Lightning Lane and that there's Genie Plus and you buy Genie Plus to get you into the Lightning Lane.
Yeah,
I think
right.
that
I guess
confuses
people are assuming that, well, I got Genie Plus, does that not get me in? No, that's another thing, right? So
yeah, exactly. It's confusing because even if they would have just called but this would have been hard too, since I think they're going to change it up a little bit, and they already have actually the individually paid attractions. I feel like they should have come up with a different name for that. Right? Like, so you have Genie Plus, but then the ones you have to pay for individually, you call something else, but it's all the same thing. I mean, Lightning Lane is just, the Fast Pass lane. That's all it is. It's nothing different, So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't even know how we got into this. Okay, but then they also, I saw too that they sent out an email. I'm actually, the only reason I put this on here is that they're adding Shanghai Disney to the list of point redemption, which is cool because my wife were actually, and I were just talking about this recently about how we really want to, go to all the parks around the world at some point, and so to be able to use my DVC points at Shanghai, that's kind of great.
Yeah. So the interesting thing. They've redone
they reorganized everything.
Yeah, they reorganized the collections is what it is. So the new Disney collections feature subcategories of Disney stays and Disney experiences. Stays include the 15 DVC resorts, as well as traditional hotel options like Yacht Club and Paradise Pier Hotel. Woo.
Random things to include there,
yeah. I know, like I get why they're doing it. So that's like, that's like the most people, you don't want to do that. So we're clear here, this is not like Paradise Pier is not a DVC resort. It's saying you can use your points there, but it's going to cost you way more than actually doing a DVC stay.
In general, anytime you use your points for anything that's not a DVC resort, it's not really a good deal.
But again, like you said, the interesting thing is they've added Shanghai Disney to the list, which, that does open up another window, like we were talking about earlier, that when you get to a point where you're not necessarily wanting to do Disney parks per se, if you decide you want to go overseas and go to Shanghai, you could plan a Disney, a Shanghai Disney trip and use your points there. Again, not ideal, but if you're
probably not
out of
points.
But if you're at a point where you're just wanting to try something different, I like having more options. And then they also said alongside, they announced, the new interval partnership, and then the all the concierge collection that they had previously. So,
which I've already seen people complaining about interval, but
well,
I've already seen it. Just started. Already seen people complaining.
Everyone's going to complain about everything, and it's. I
went on RCI a bunch of times and couldn't find anything available. So it's not like RCI was better.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing, is that I had a look at interval, and at least for for stuff that's local to me, interval looks far more attractive than RCI did. Just on the surface. But
and I think just a base fact, they just have more properties than RCI. I mean, they just have more.
Yeah.
Right. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, it's just, I'm not going to be picky about they don't have this hotel or they don't have that hotel. It's like, they've just the fact that I can even use it outside of Disney, and actually even to that point, if I'm not able to rent out my points, like if it gets close enough to the end of my use year that I can't use these points, I may look at putting them into interval. Right. And then, I will be using them. And again, the whole point is it's not going to be, I'm not going to be picky about which hotels it is at that point. I just want to use the points.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we covered the DVC stuff, right? So
yeah. So let's talk about.
Also, wait, can we mention two National Geographic expeditions along with Adventures by Disney? I'm not super familiar with that, but I'm gonna guess it's like guided tours, just like Adventure by Disney, right?
Yeah, I thought that was the same thing. I didn't realize they had a separate definition for them. So yeah, there's Adventures by Disney and National Geographic's expeditions. So.
I wonder, I mean, doesn't Disney own National Geographic at this point?
They do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So I guess they just have, I don't know. That's interesting that they would have a separate thing like that.
I'm gonna have to look this up now, but I'll do this.
Yeah, I just Googled it. So I mean, yeah, it was, they own National Geographic, so it's odd.
Yeah.
So stand by at Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. This is a big news, and if you're listening to this right now, it's January 10th. So today that the episode came out, the virtual queue is now gone. So I think it's interesting though, because I Dan specifically asked, what's your take on the elimination of the virtual queue for Remy? Is it just unnecessary after the Christmas peak? Will it be used on another ride, or is it just pushing more people to Lightning Lane? I just think that their strategy now is when they open a new ride, it used to be, and I remember reading about this in, I've talked about this before in Marty Sklar's book, right? When they first opened Universa Energy, it took them like several years to get it to be operationally acceptable, right? To where it was up enough time that they weren't, that it wasn't down all the time, right? Because at that time, that technology was like revolutionary new technology, right? And so when you have some of these new rides now, it takes a long time for some of them to get up and go, and like Rise of the Resistance is a very complicated ride, and it's something that's, extraordinarily popular. So I think they kept it there for a long time to get it to a place operationally that they needed to. And now it doesn't break down nearly as much as it used to, right? I mean, it still does, because everything does. But it's way more reliable than it used to be. And Ratatouille, I feel like the runway on that was a lot shorter because they already built this once, right? Like, it's still, of course, going to be unique and have its own little issues here and there, but they already built this thing once. And, they didn't have crazy huge crowds for this, and I think they probably have a handle on what the regular queue is going to look like. I don't necessarily think it's pushing that many more people to Lightning Lane purchase. It's going to, obviously, just because it is, and I don't think they're going to move the virtual queue to anywhere else, because I think they're just using it when they actually said in the announcement, virtual queues continue to be helpful with the launch of popular attractions and the debut of new experiences and offerings. So we may use it again from time to time for attractions in the future. So I don't think this is a thing they're going to move to just, okay, we're not using on Remy anymore. Now we're going to use it on, Space Mountain. Like, I don't think that that's what they're doing here. I think it's more of their strategy now when they open these new things to avoid that, thing that happened with Hagrid's, right? Where it was a 10-hour line. They don't want that, right? So they avoid that by using the virtual queue. And I think that's what the point of it is. And I think that's how they're going to keep using it. So
yeah, I absolutely agree. And that's, I remember when they announced it and we talked about it, is this is kind of how I expected this to go, is that the first couple of months would be virtual queue. And now that they've got it to where they think it's fairly stable, and also, again, looking at the time of year, knowing full well that the busy time of year is over and everything, they obviously feel comfortable that they can run it under normal standby at this point without any major disruptions. The interesting thing will be, once standby does start, so today, or as anyone who's listening to the podcast, day one, see what the wait times look like, because the interesting thing about the virtual queue is that it was like the whole Hagrid's thing. It was hiding that, I guess, was the thing, because, or rather, it wasn't hiding it. It was stopping in that people, you couldn't overbook the ride. So it would never actually get up to a 10-hour wait. But because of the fact that it was a virtual queue, they set the expectations that, it could be 8+ hours before you get on this ride, but you weren't just standing in line for it, right?
Yeah, so, it was still a 10-hour queue, but you weren't actually waiting in that 10-hour queue. That was the difference, right?
Exactly. And so what I'll be curious of is what the actual standby looks like, because that'll be more telling of, is this ride crazy popular, and it's going to, is it still new enough that it's going to be 2+ hour wait, or will you find that it'll stabilize itself pretty quickly down to like a 45-minute type wait? So,
and I think it's going to be hard to know at first, right? Because this is typically a quiet time of year at Disney, so it's probably going to be the crowds in general are going to be a little bit lower, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, look at it. Even though, too, they didn't add virtual queue back in for the holidays for Rise of Resistance. They didn't, right? They could have. They said they might do it when they want to. Like, when else would you do it other than during the holidays, right? So, I don't know.
I think like what what you're talking about there, when things get more back to normal, because again, like you said, this time of year, it's not busy. And also with, there's still a lot of stuff going on in the world that people are not, like I said, even for myself, we're not traveling. A lot of people are not traveling. So we're still not back at proper normal. I think what'll happen is that, like you said, as it ramps up and you get to busier times of the year, like Easter and over, summertime and Christmas next year, what you'll probably see is that it may be for certain days, or as it ramps up to certain times of the year, they'll turn the virtual queues back on for certain rides, and then it'll go away again. So you may only see for like a week that a ride has a virtual queue, and then it just disappears. Or, on a particular day, they may actually start, you may actually see 2 or 3 rides in a park that have a virtual queue because it's just that busy.
Yeah. But
again, this last year, it's so like, this was not normal by any means still. So, even to the point about, well, they never did turn on Rise the Resistance. I don't think they actually hit a point where they felt the need to, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't happen next year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Because it is still, it is still limited, right? Like they're the crowds are still limited, right? It's not, we had before where situations where obviously the parks would shut down because they were too busy. But now they can't even really have that, right? And it's funny, I saw an article about this too, where it was like, Disney's not going to come to a place where it shuts down because everybody's got to make a reservation ahead of time. So if you don't, then they've get themselves all the way to their capacity with the reservations, and then that's it. There's nothing else, right? So that's how they're controlling this. So yeah, it's interesting. I really just don't think that it's completely about pushing people to pay individually. But I don't know. Maybe it's nefarious and they're really just going for money. I don't know. I don't think so.
The thing is that the Lightning Lane is there regardless. Like it's not just Ratatouille. It's in the park now, and it's a thing. And I'm not, so the point is not, it's true in that, if you don't like it, don't pay for it. It is absolutely true. You don't have to engage in Lightning Lane, and it may hit a point where Disney's looking at and realizing that they're not getting the benefit out of it. But yeah, I see where the logic comes that, well, they're forcing people to use it. Well, yes and no.
Yeah, not really. You can still wait in the standby line.
Exactly. And that was my point about, see what Ratatouille actually looks like for the standby, because you may find that, the Lightning Lane I feel like it's going to eventually turn into a thing where, it's on the side, right? It's for those people that really want to use it. It's for those people that, really want to skip the line. But the vast majority of people will look and go, yeah, 45 minutes or, whatever, I'm okay with that. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's where I see it getting to, not like this ride, you're going to wait 3 hours for this, everyone better buy a Lightning Lane, right? Like Disney doesn't want that. They actually don't want that many people using the Lightning Lane. It's funny because I saw somebody post this about this too. It's like, like Disney announced like 33%, I think, of people were buying Genie Plus. It was like, oh, it's such a failure. It's like, no, that's exactly what they want. Like, This is what they're trying to do, is trying to reduce the amount of people that get to cut the line because it makes it a better experience for everybody. It equals it out a little bit, right? And that's the thing for Rise of the Resistance here. Like, some people will pay for it, but most won't. The vast majority of people won't. They'll just wait. Yeah. And that'll make the standby line. You have very few people cutting the line now, instead of 100% of the people being able to cut the line. We've talked about this so many times on here, but that's how it is in my mind. And I know everybody at this point is just like, they're money hungry and all they care about is money. So it's everything is driven by money, and it's not. Well, so I disagree. It is, but there's a fine line there that I don't think the nuance is necessarily clear to everybody. That Disney does want our money. They do want us to pay for things. They do want us to spend money, but they also want us to walk away not feeling like it was like a or like a roadside.
Yeah.
Or I'll put it to like, like a roadside attraction kind of thing. They don't want to come across as that. And that's the game that they're playing, is that they want things to be, hey, we want to make revenue. We want to get money from people. But if everybody walks away bitter and upset because, you made me pay this money, this was not fun because, I had to pay you guys this amount of money, people aren't going to come back. And the thing is it looks great in the short term, but 2 or 3 years down the road, when the park is empty and nobody's using, Lightning Lane or anything. And again, sorry, it's hyperbolic. The park's never going to be empty, but let's say it's hurting them. They can't afford that either. They have to be careful about how they play that game. So, to the point of, them changing Ratatouille, it's not that cut and dry. They're not just looking at, we're, good enough, let's start charging people for it. They're going to look at it and they're going to, play that game. I think they feel that Ratatouille is at a point where because it's a copy of an existing ride, they don't need to push it the same way they did Rise of the Resistance, which was in virtual queue way longer.
Yeah.
So,
and Rise of the Resistance also just with breaking down constantly for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
a little more
too.
Reliable, like it's honestly, it's not comparing apples to apples.
No, it's a much more straightforward ride. When you look at something like Rise of the Resistance, when there's, 3 different entire ride systems that all need to work in sync with each other or else the whole thing breaks down, that's a problem. Ratatouille is literally just a trackless screen ride. That is it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less that can go wrong with that. There's a lot less points of failure. So, So anyway, but I just don't think it's every decision they're making, like, because they do still care about the guest experience because they want you to have a good time because they want you to come back. It's, $15 here and there is great, but they'd rather have, instead of you paying $15, they'd rather have you come back every year. Like that's the thing, right? So I do think guest experience still matters. I do think it's not all about money. Not every decision is completely money, but
right now it's very obvious how much it is about money because of the fact that, Disney is like everyone else, they're recouping, they're doing all that. But this is also, like I've said before, it's an ebb and a flow thing. Is Disney goes through these phases where they are pushing this stuff, and then you'll find that, in a couple of years, it'll come back around the other way again. It's like it won't seem as, them nickel and diming it. Like there'll be more stuff available. There'll be better experiences, all that kind of stuff. And again, like people have very short memories when it comes to this stuff because
100%.
Like you forget, like I remember when I went in 2006, it was different. Like it was definitely a different feel to the park than when I took my son in 2016, like 10 years difference. A lot changes. And from then until now, until, 2 or 3 years from now, it's going to change again. And, you can't just paint it all with the same brush and say, well, Disney's just bad. That's it. Right now it's not great, but that's not exclusive to Disney. Right. Like, even like Damon said, it's not so much Disney. It's that, people are being not cool at the moment and people need to relax a little bit.
Well, I think Magical Express is like the perfect example of this, right? Because it's like everybody freaks out about Magical Express going away. And it's like, well, and they're like, well, how am I going to get to the parks now? It's like, well, what did you do before it came out in, 2005? Like, It's only been around for 16 years. It's not like it was, it was there the entire time, right? Disney World existed for 35 years before it even existed. So, I just think that's what, like you said, is the ebb and flow of things, right? For all those times, people had to find a way to get to the parks and they did. And then you just get reliant on the service and then they take the service away and it feels a lot worse when they take it away, So who knows? That might come back someday too.
Yeah. Or, well, again, the whole thing is supposedly there'll be a train at some point and then we'll have a literal Magical Express.
Yeah.
So
yes. All right. let's talk about this Festival of the Arts food and then get out of here.
Yeah. All right.
Even though we bounced all over the place today, we already talked about some Festival of the Arts stuff.
So let me just go on record here. So like before what I was saying, seriously, if anybody happens to be in the parks, I will pay to have one of these Figment popcorn buckets shipped to me. Like,
this is going to be a hot item.
Yeah, I know.
Hot item.
Because I would have bought one of these when I was there in February. Like, absolutely, I would have gone hunting for one. And just like you, we like Figment in our house, and I would have this, to like Damon said, people don't use popcorn buckets. We have a couple of them out. Like I said, we use them as pen holders, and we have them sitting on a bookshelf. I would add this to the collection. So, if anybody is interested, if you happen to score one, and if you want to ship one to me, of course, I'll pay for it, but please let me know.
These are good. This is going to be the item that people are. This is probably going to be going for some money on eBay, and
it's going to be this year's PS5. No,
I hope they have a lot. I hope they have a lot of them. That's all I'm going to say, because people are going to want these.
They better not have shortchanged on these. I don't know why they would do that.
Well, I mean, there's supply issues popping up all over the place, and I was just reading about the lightsabers. When you're building lightsabers, they were putting them in plastic bags because I guess they ran out of the normal sheaths they put them in. So I would hope that they have a lot of these. But I mean, I just know from the 50th anniversary popcorn buckets, you remember seeing when those came out, and there were like several hour lines of people waiting for them. I mean, I feel like Figment's popular enough that's going to happen too.
The funny thing is like, I know that there was the lineups and everything, but the funny thing about when that stuff happens is there's always the initial rush, but every time that I've seen those kind of like limited edition popcorn buckets and whatever, it's always like after that initial rush dies down, you can usually find it. Like that's true. It's never been to a point where it's like absolutely like impossible to find.
No, that's true. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
It's just you want to get it now, right? It's impatient.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need it now. I'm just saying if somebody happens to score one, and if you'd be kind enough to send me one, by all means. But
yeah. All right, the first one on here is Pop Eats. Let's see, we got tomato soup and grilled cheese. Good.
That sugar cookie, so the Poppin' Art modern design sugar cookie with the chocolate hazelnut filling, that's really catching my eye.
Yeah, I want that. Give me that.
It looks like a Pop-Tart. Like it honestly it reminds me of a Pop-Tart, but the fact that it's hazelnut in the middle, I kind of want it.
It is called Popped Art, so it's they're going for Pop-Tart without saying Pop-Tart, because it's P-O-P' Popped and then art. Popped Art. Yeah. I'm surprised they're not going to get sued by Pop-Tart for that one. And then they have this cake too that they've had. I remember this one from previous years. Mm-hmm. It's a layer cake that looks really pretty cool. So, and then of course our Figment popcorn bucket. I don't really care about tomato soup and grilled cheese. That's whatever to me.
I can make that at home. There's nothing they're doing with it that I can't already do.
What about these deconstructed dishes? There's a deconstructed BLT, which sounds actually kind of amazing. Crispy pork belly. Good.
It looks weird.
Because it's deconstructed, right?
Yeah, so. But there's literally just cubes of bread. Like
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
What about deconstructed key lime pie with a flexible key lime curd? I think that's the other picture is the key lime pie. Yeah, it is, because the other one is a French onion soup. I mean, I would eat that. It looks good. These are fancy things, though.
Is that like a plastic lime on the plate, or do you suppose that's like a candy or something?
Let's see. It doesn't really say. Maybe it's like a meringue or something. I don't know. Maybe it's some fancy looking thing. I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. Then we've got Deco Delights. There's a chocolate mousse. That sounds really good. Dark chocolate truffle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of words in there that I'm not going to try to pronounce. Oh, what is this one too? Oh, this chocolate with dark mousse, chocolate brownie, and some other mousse.
Is the second one the Valrhona chocolate?
Oh yeah,
is that blue one?
I think the blue one is the orange mousse with lemon cake and raspberry meringues.
Okay,
I think that's that one. Yeah,
it's hard to tell. Like I know that they're trying to be like interesting with it, but nothing in these descriptions says blue to me. So I'm trying to figure out what I get blue. I guess raspberry. Like you get blue raspberry, right? So
yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
I think it's just differently colored. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not in for anything in this craftsman's courtyard because it's seafood, and I don't do seafood.
You don't want mussels?
No.
I think they're good, but okay.
And then there's a trout in there too. No, I'm good. Yeah. I'll get a wheat beer from here. That's what I'll get.
All right, Freshman Outpost.
It's a plant-based bratwurst. That jumbo chocolate chip cookie I'm in for, though.
The bratwurst actually looks pretty good.
It does look good. I don't think I've had a plant-based one before, though.
It's turmeric aioli, coffee, barbecue, jackfruit, and slaw. More, again, it says plant-based because when do you have slaw that's not plant-based?
That's a fair point. Well, I think it was saying plant-based for the whole item. So,
right.
Yeah. But I'm in for the jumbo chocolate chip cookie there. I'll have that. That sounds good. Yeah. How about
sorry, this goes back to, like we were talking about the listener question before. This is why this is good, right? Because, as we're talking through it, we have our own likes and dislikes, and you can pick and choose. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why eating around the world works.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it works out, because you just walk around and somebody. This is what we did on my last trip, and we had. It was only 6 of us together. Or 7 of us together, but that's what we did. We just walked around. If somebody wanted something from one of the booths, we stopped. They went through the line. They got their food. We continued walking. Like that's, you know what I mean? It was, and we, one of us would peel off and go get our food, and then we continued on. Because the person that just got their food went over to one of the standing tables and started eating. So then people could get other stuff, and it worked out really well. So let's see this next one: pastoral palate. Wow. Okay, I got short rib. A
red
wild boar
short rib. That's got to be good.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You got some. That looks good. Okay, and then there's a wild boar cassoulet, I believe that's pronounced, with duck confit, ham hock, and wild boar sausage. That's like a dream for an adventurous eater, but not for me.
That's a lot of pork.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That is a lot of pork right there. I do like this opera cake, though. That looks really good.
Yeah, opera cakes always look very, very nice.
It looks very fancy. I will say these dishes look a lot fancier than like straight up food and wine dishes. Like,
that's the one thing about the Festival of the Arts is that they I mean, not to say food and wine, they don't put the effort in, but it feels like they try to go a little more outside of traditional.
Presentation is a little more important, I feel like, for. So then we got a artist table, beef Wellington, which I don't really red meat all that often. So I'm kind of out on that one. And then a pan-seared scallop with butternut squash puree. I'm out on both of those.
Brown butter, cauliflower puree, and a lime foam.
A lime foam. I don't even know what that is.
I was scallops. Okay. Butternut squash puree. Okay. Brown butter, cauliflower puree. Okay. Lime foam.
Lime foam. What? I don't like pistachios, but a pistachio cake with cherry mousse and cherries sounds kind of good. Morello cherries. I don't even know what Morello cherries are, but I'm in. Give it to me. Yep. I'll eat it.
I'll try it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Tangerine Cafe. It's over in Morocco. Carrots 3 ways. That's interesting. Grilled carrots, pickled carrots, and carrot ginger puree.
Interesting.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not running over to that, but it's not terrible.
I mean, it looks good, actually. Like, it does. I would try it.
See, but I'm all about this next thing. The house-made crispy almond phyllo pockets with white chocolate, pomegranate, and milk chocolate orange. That sounds delicious. Give me that.
Like baklava kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a baklava thing going on there too. I'm also in for they got a bunch of hard ciders here too. They got a sangria hard cider, a chai hard cider, berry hard cider. I want to try all this. Give me a cider flight.
Surprisingly, Tom's going to be spending a lot of time at the Morocco Pavilion.
Yeah, but just drinking there.
That's why you're spending a lot of time there.
Just drinking there. Yeah. All right, house-made. Ooh, look at this. This sounds good right here. All right, I'm all in for this one. Over what? Oh, this is an too bad.
Encanto Coquina.
Yeah, it's an Encanto themed booth here.
So Colombian, which Colombian food's good.
Yeah, house made chorizo and potato empanada. That sounds amazing.
Yep.
Give me that. I want to eat that right now. It's making me hungry. I ate already, but I'm getting hungry again now.
See, I'm having dinner after this because I'm behind you guys, so I got to go eat after this. I'm starving now.
Yeah, now reading all this, right? Yeah, there's some sort of soup here too that sounds good. Chili spice chicken, potato, avocado, corn, and cream fresh. I want all that.
Yep.
Passion fruit mousse and dragon fruit jam. I'm not into passion fruit and dragon fruit.
See that, but that looks really nice. Like
it looks very pretty.
They definitely hit the Encanto theme with it. And I would try it. Like I like trying, passion fruit I know is good. And it's definitely something I would get in line for.
I'm just reading the next one and waiting for your reaction to it.
Gnocchi poutine. So, okay, gnocchi is Italian.
So wait, instead of the fries, it's really
gnocchi poutine with red wine braised beef, cheese curds, basil, and burrata.
That sounds similar to the one they had. They just had it with fries instead of gnocchi. So, I'd try it. We had the one with braised beef when we were just there, and it was delicious. I mean, the beef was fantastic.
Right.
I do like this. Go ahead, sorry.
I feel they're
really away. Stretching. Yeah.
Stretching, I mean, it's kind of becoming its own thing. It's not really poutine at this point. It's something else.
I get it. That's a new thing, though, right? Yeah. They have the artist palette jumbo chocolate chip. They've had that in years past, where it's like,
that's just been a thing, right? I don't see how you couldn't sell that at Festival of the Arts.
Yeah, you have to, right? So, let's see what they have in Canada. Although I don't think this is supposed to be Canada food, right? It's just at Canada. It's called Gourmet Landscape. So, it's not like it's Canadian food, right?
Yeah.
So what's beach carpaccio with mustard vinaigrette, pickled clamshell mushrooms. I'm out on all this. I don't want to eat any of that.
Really?
It's a beet carpaccio. No, beets. No, I'm not eating beets. Did I say beef before? Maybe I just misread it. Beets.
It's beets, yeah.
I know, but I thought when I read it initially, I said beef and not beet.
Oh.
Yeah, I might have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Roasted bone marrow. I've never done bone marrow, but I've heard it's good.
It is. It's very flavorful.
Okay.
Yeah. Pickled mushrooms, lettuce, and
I don't do anything
snow.
with mushrooms. I don't do mushrooms. So marrow snow. What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
It just looks like it's like sprinkled on top there, like a little. Okay.
So the next one, the wild mushroom risotto.
No.
Yeah. So we did the mushroom bisque at Artist Point, and it was fantastic. Like I know you're not big on mushrooms, but it was really, really good. I could imagine this would be similar.
Yeah, my wife loves mushrooms. I don't do mushrooms. I'm not a fan. What about the donut box? This
right,
now we're talking right here. Ooh.
Vanilla donuts, strawberry sugared, strawberry ice cream, fresh strawberry. How many more strawberries can you get on a donut?
That's a good question. I don't think it's pictured here because I think the two that we have here are the Inside Out donut, which is vanilla donut with Bavarian cream, which looks delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I would eat that. And then this, what is this? The black and gold sugar sprinkles and chocolate buttercream. It's a chocolate dip donut. That one looks good too.
So I'll say this is that buttercream better be very good, because if you're putting gold anything on something, it's usually because you don't have or it's not good enough. Like,
okay, fair.
People use like gold leaf and stuff to make it look fancy when yeah. That's my only thing when they start like, oh, it's got gold leaf or gold sugar. I don't believe you.
Let's see here. Let's keep going here. We should wrap up soon here. So, what is this? Just a bread bowl filled with creamy brie? I mean, I'm not against that. That sounds great.
Creme de brie en petit pain. It's a little bread or cream brie in a little bowl or a little bread bowl.
That's awesome. I'm in. Yeah. You got a truffle croissant, what is this? Chilled lobster bisque. Oh, I'm all about molten chocolate and hazelnut cake. Give me that. That sounds fantastic. I'm sorry, but that chilled lobster bisque looks, I don't even know. Is that the little...
it's like Jell-O.
Yeah, it looks like Jell-O. That looks disgusting.
Like Jell-O bisque.
Oh, disgusting.
I'm sure it's good. Like that's the thing. I know when they do things chilled, it's they have an intent, but yeah, when it comes out looking almost like Jell-O,
yeah,
not really into it.
What about these things? What about these things over here in Mexico? Let's see. What is this? Cilantro. What is that?
Harache and quinta. I can't pronounce that.
I don't know what that is. I've never heard that word before. Carne asada. I know what that is.
Yeah.
And then there's chocolate taco. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Chocolate candy shell filled with Mexican chocolate mousse and a touch. Oh, I want that. A touch of chili top with seasonal fruit. Give me that.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah. That can't be bad. Yeah. That cannot be bad. Let's see what else we got here. Japan. Breaded fried chicken with yum yum sauce and vegetables. That's pretty easy. I'll eat that. Breaded and fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Seems
and
kind of
totally out whatever. On this sushi donut.
Oh, my wife would be totally in on this. I'm definitely out though.
I would try this. I mean, it looks like it's like looks almost like a bento box kind of thing.
Yeah, so for everybody, we're looking at the picture of this. It's not an actual donut. It's just a donut-shaped sushi. So just don't think it's an actual donut. Okay, it's not.
Yeah, it's just think of if they arranged like the sushi or the rice with the fish over top in a donut shape. It looks like there's ginger in the middle with some wasabi going down the one side.
Yeah, that's exactly Yeah. I'm looking at China now. General Tso's chicken was a shumai. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. Search Google for shumai.
Shumai looks like
Chinese dumpling. It's a Chinese dumpling. Okay.
Yeah, they look like dumplings. And that char siu pork bun. Oh, I love
that. Looks delicious. Pork buns. That looks delicious. Yeah, that looks really dainty.
So the problem with that, I've been somewhere that's had pork buns like that, and I ended up buying 3 because you eat one and then you want more of it. But then, I can just imagine I would be there probably ordering 3 of these.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then we're over in Italy now. They have arancini or arancini. I forget the right way to say it, but they're fried risotto balls. With braised beef and pomodoro sauce. I've had they're the ones that they've had in the past. This is new, so I guess it's stuffed with something different, and they've always been very good. So I'm always a fan.
And I'm guessing the one pictured here is the sweet sausage ravioli.
Yeah, take the mushrooms out, and I'd eat that. If you take the mushrooms out, creamy Parmesan sauce sounds good. I mean, that sounds good to me. A chocolate hazelnut donut with powdered sugar, that sounds good too. Anytime you have chocolate hazelnut, I'm in. Like, you could put chocolate hazelnut on pretty much anything, and I'm not going to say the brand name because they don't, but put it on anything and it's delicious for me anyway.
I like the name of this. It's a bomboloni. Looks like
bomboloni. Yeah.
Bomboloni.
Yeah. That's.
Can I get 3 bomboloni, please?
So like I kind of wish Damon was here for this because like. When you go to the Jersey Shore, they have Zeppelis. You ever heard of a Zeppeli?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Zeppelis are the best. There's somebody listening right now that is really excited that I'm mentioning Zeppelis, because Zeppelis are awesome. They're just fried dough, but like you would get them, like it's basically just like fried dough donut balls, and then they cover them in like powdered sugar. But you'd always get them like down at the shore, and they just like they're super greasy, but they're really sweet and delicious. It's just
okay.
One of those things.
So we get a couple of things up here, we get the mini donuts, which I'm guessing might be similar, or is it closer to like a funnel cake?
It's almost, I almost want to say it's closer to like a beignet.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's a lot softer, I feel like.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
okay.
It's like a fritter kind of. Yeah. They're really good though.
Got it.
Yeah. But now we're going down to, we were just talking about funnel cakes, and there's some funnel cakes here.
Yeah.
Cherry blossom funnel cake, chocolate chip funnel cake topped with cherry ice cream, rainbow whipped cream, chocolate chips, maraschino cherry. Heck yeah.
It doesn't say where this is though. It's just, there's just
You're right.
a funnel cake somewhere.
It's just somewhere. You need to find it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I want to find this. It looks delicious.
Yeah, because
I love a good funnel cake.
They list funnel cake, and then they list Joffrey's coffee, which they've got all the different flavors of Joffrey's there. But yeah, it doesn't say where this funnel cake is.
Yeah, it doesn't. All right, we should wrap this up. We're almost at like 2 hours here, and you know,
which I know people have been waiting for us to come back, and yeah, it's we'll give people 2 hours so they have something to listen to.
I still pretend in my head that no one listens to this ever, so I just assume like it's hard for me to think about. I mean, I'm not going to say the kinds of numbers that we get, but it's a little bit, when I see it, I don't believe it. I feel like there's an error.
Right. You know so, something must have happened wrong.
Yeah. Something broke. Yeah. There's no way that many people listen to us, but they do. It's surprising. So thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. All right, let's wrap it up.
All right. So as usual, if you guys want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We appreciate your listener questions. We appreciate people sharing trip reports, asking us for advice on buying DVC, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, don't be afraid to fire us an email if you guys got questions, or just, even want to say hi, because, we love talking to you guys too. Also similarly, if you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. And, you can also search for the Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, which is our Facebook group that we've had now for a while, that, has a lot of fun people in it. And, again, more of that discussion with us and with other listeners, about everything that we're talking about today. And, so make sure you guys check that out. Also, you can go to YouTube and Instagram. YouTube is, again, Welcome Home Podcast. Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. I was hoping I would be able to post some stuff on YouTube and Instagram on our trip, but obviously not happening in February. But as we get closer to the meetup, we'll be able to post some stuff on there. And, maybe if we do a live show between now and then, I don't know if that's, or we usually don't do live shows early in the year, but maybe we'll look at doing something. You can always catch those on YouTube. And if you guys want to get some merchandise, make sure you go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out what we got there. There's t-shirts, there's mugs, there's a bunch of different stuff. If you want to get something that has the logo and help support the show, we greatly appreciate it. Or if you would rather subscribe to Patreon, which is another way that helps support the podcast, and we do have some exclusive merchandise through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod. That's also the same way that you would get access to the Discord servers. So if you're interested in talking on Discord with us, you can find us through subscribing to Patreon. Last but not least, if you guys are listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, Spotify, you can't leave reviews, but you can rate the podcast. We have 5 stars
right now, by the way. We have 5 stars.
Awesome. Yeah. So, if we could get some 5-star ratings on Spotify, that would certainly be helpful. And then on iTunes, if you guys, leave us a review and, hopefully 5 stars as well. We'd love to hear from you. And, these are ways to help people find the podcast. So, make sure you guys leave us a rating. Just, show us that you like us.
Yeah, make it your New Year's resolution to leave us a review if you haven't done so. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any place you can find podcasts. You can find us, just search for Welcome Home and, obviously the one that says Disney and DVC. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own, so please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion, of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.